Greetings gamers, I'm LotusCrane, and today I'll be reviewing Plague Inc. Evolved, a disease simulator developed and published by Endemic Creations. It's $15 in the Steam store, plus $5 for the soundtrack DLC, and it has a Metacritic score of 80. I should point out, however, though, that the Metacritic score is listed for Xbox One and iOS versions of the game. The PC port, which came out later, doesn't have its own dedicated score, but since it's a faithful port, for all intents and purposes, you can also think of it as a Metacritic 80 game. So two things. I want to give a quick shout out to my friend EAC Giants for providing me with my copy of this game. And I also want to issue a little bit of a content warning for people who may be squeamish about the concepts of disease, death, and even human extinction. This game will not graphically display such things, but if conceptually you're uneasy with it, then you may want to skip out on this review. So there's all sorts of disease types: bacteria, virus, fungus. Fungus took a while to clear. There's an interesting strategy to winning fungus. And so I haven't actually unlocked all the potential diseases, since you have to clear each one before unlocking the next one. Except for some of these special ones. I believe you can play Simian Flu, which is a nod to Rise of Planet of the Apes, and Shadow Plague, which might be a reference to, vampirism in general, but I would think most closely of The Strain, which is the FX show. Overall, this game, I can't really compare this to other games I've played. If anything, this game reminds me of the movie Contagion with Matt Damon and friends. Not to be mistaken with the game Contagion, which is a zombie survival game like Left 4 Dead. Alright, let's give Parasites a shot. So, by playing the game, you unlock various genes you can use to edit your disease before you start. I do like random mutations. Those are usually beneficial. And even if I get an improper mutation, I can just evolve it for bonus DNA, so Darwinist and ionized helix is usually a pretty decent combination. Brutal and Mega Brutal really are quite difficult. And with Fungus, even normal mode was challenging. Alright, let's start with China. It's got the largest population. It has land borders with a lot of other countries with large populations. Their medical system is not the most advanced in the world, so I don't have to worry about cure research or deployment of medicines until a little later on. And plus they have airports and seaports as well, so... The newsfeed up here actually parallels the real world pretty well. Sometimes they issue useful information, like letting you know that bird migration patterns have increased, in which case you may want to evolve the ability to be transmitted by birds. And sometimes there's just humorous things posted, like parodies of Trump speeches. Which means that this game is actually updated pretty frequently for the news feeds to include Donald Trump references. If you're wondering, I am not a fan. When he says "Make America Great Again," I hear "Make America Racist and Sexist Again." Okay, so transmission factors. Disease can be spread by bird, by insect, by dust, and by bodies of water, not necessarily in the bodies of living creatures. So that should help spread the disease pretty quickly. Let's see, I don't want to actually evolve too many symptoms just yet, even though symptoms also help spread. Well, so symptoms are interesting. Some symptoms exist primarily to spread infection faster. Other symptoms will make people less productive, which usually slows down your ability to research a cure. And then some are actually intended to kill people as quickly as possible, but you don't want those lethal symptoms too early on, because then potentially your current hosts die off before they can spread the disease to new hosts. So that's the funny thing. Overly lethal diseases are not that successful because they go extinct if all their hosts die. Oh yeah, so each type of disease has their own special trait. In this case, parasites have symbiosis, which means human beings will notice them quite a bit later, and therefore not research a cure until hopefully it's too late. Alright, let's make the disease more tolerant of cold weather, so it can breed and spread there. And maybe paradoxically also make... Oh, never mind, I need more DNA before I can do that. Paradoxically, make it so it can also breed and spread in hot weather more effectively. So yeah, with very high levels of bird migration. I already have basic bird transmission, but I probably want the advanced version as well. Okay, need more DNA. And I really want it before the next news update. Okay, there we go. Alright, let's become more resistant to... Oh, nope, need more DNA. Okay, and there goes that drug resistance. This might technically be too late to be useful, since they've already noticed that it exists, but... Well, it also increases transmission rates. Alright, I feel like it's safe for me to start investing in symptoms. At this point I already have a pretty decent base of infection. So what's kind of funny is, before you start going hardcore on symptoms, you want to make sure that you actually have a foothold in Greenland, Madagascar, and these islands in the Pacific Rim. Because if disease is too lethal too early, there's actually a pretty decent chance that the Pacific Rim, Madagascar, and Greenland will become bastions of the last remaining healthy human beings on the planet, and then either you kill off the rest of humanity, but you are considered to have lost the game because there's still healthy humans living in those three places, or they survive long enough to research a cure. So, either way. Alright, let's... Okay, well, since everyone on the planet is infected, that means I don't have to worry about transmission anymore, and now I need to, well, kill everyone off before they research a cure. Oh, you know, I totally forgot to research the second stage of genetic hardening. If I get enough DNA to do that, I probably should, to slow down cure research. Nope, need 2 more. Uh-oh, wow. Actually, there's a chance I'm gonna lose this. I really should have done genetic hardening before they reach this point. Oh, that's not good. Oh, you know what? Maybe I should have just gone for total organ failure and tried to kill everyone off first. Ooh, this is gonna be cutting. Oh, you know what? I failed. I messed up. Humanity will survive. I mean, good news for humanity. I mean, bad news for me as a player of this game, though. And I can't afford genetic reshuffle. So as you can see from world population, they're going from red to blue, meaning they're being cured. Libya uses mass graves because of the disease or just because of their usual civil strife? Oh, that's probably uncalled for. I'm probably being mean here. But I mean, well, we certainly didn't do them very many favors. Alright. So, parasites didn't quite work out. I'm gonna go with viruses, because I found them pretty easy to win with. Alright, starting China again. So the thing about viruses is that you are basically riding an express train of rampant and almost uncontrollable lethality, because once you max out their unique trait of spontaneous mutations, they will just develop total organ failure pretty much all on their own. Or, you know, any one of the other rather lethal symptoms. Alright, let's speed up the clock a little bit. Alright, need a little more DNA. There we go. I really do like birds. I find them to be a little more effective than most of the other vectors early on. Insects? Alright, now let's worry about drug resistance. So they've already noticed it, and that it's pretty severe, but if I can destroy countries fast enough, that will also slow down cure research. Oh, alright, maybe it's too lethal. What did it evolve? No organ filler yet. The milder symptoms are usually better for spreading infection than actually killing people. Oh. Well, some things are more important than soccer. Alright, hopefully with a cold weather boost, it'll finally spread to Russia and Greenland. No? Not, a little bit. Okay. Some hot weather. A little more genetic hardening. That's something I forgot to do with the parasites before. Livestock and blood. Alright, China's pretty much destroyed, so cure research is slowing down there. Oh, did I really forget rodents? I guess I did. Alright, extreme zoonosis. Meaning it will just mutate and jump from all sorts of animals to other sorts of animals, not necessarily the same species or even the same kingdom. Okay, this worries me. This disease needs to get a foothold in Greenland before they close down all the seaports. Which means spread it by water. Air's not as important, but I need to max out both air and water to get extreme bioaerosol. Alright, come on. Some foolish person break quarantine and infect Greenland before all the seaports are closed. Oh, and the Caribbean. Oh, I forgot about that. So Greenland and the Caribbean. Okay. Alright, I need to stop total organ failure for now. So for viruses, their bonus is that they mutate randomly much more quickly, which saves you points. The downside, though, is unlike for other types of disease where you get a DNA refund when you devolve, it actually costs to devolve as well, though it starts pretty low. Okay, I messed up. There's no way for the disease to get to Greenland or the Caribbean now, not unless I get like a random event for bird migration. So once again, the world will survive. It'll be people in Greenland and people in the Caribbean. Organ failure is back on the table. I mean, I think it's too late now. I'm gonna kill off all of my hosts in the world. Oh! Yeah, I messed up. Alright, so first time I lost because they developed a cure before I could kill everyone, and in this case I killed everyone on every part of the world except for Greenland and the Caribbean, so the world will be repopulated by people from Greenland and the Caribbean. I guess there won't be any Asians in that world. Whoops. Anyway, this has been Plague Inc. Evolved. I failed to exterminate humanity twice, but you get the idea. It's pretty interesting. I kind of feel like Democracy, another simulator. Well, that was a political simulator I played a while back. This is also equal parts entertainment and education. I wonder actually of how much educational benefit this game would be to like a biology major who is actually already studying or focusing on pathology. But yeah, this is definitely interesting, and I will say LotusCrane approved. One could say that this game probably doesn't have like the most replay value once you've cleared the game, at least once of each disease type, but multiplayer is, kind of fun. I lose most of those as well. The way that works is both players will unleash their own disease upon the world, and whoever manages to either infect the entire planet first, or cause the other player to have their cure research first, which you can do using certain abilities that are only unlocked in multiplayer as opposed to single player. That's how you determine who is the more successful disease. So you don't actually have to necessarily kill the entire planet to win in multiplayer. If you like this video, please remember to subscribe to my channel and share it with your friends. I'm LotusCrane, signing off.